Thanks, guys. Welcome into our Hawkeye Baseball pregame show. Once again, I'm Mary Kate Harry, and joining me is the voice of Iowa baseball, Zach Mackey. Thanks for being here, Zach. Before we get into this upcoming series, let's take a look back at Iowa's last 8 games. They kicked off before spring break, getting swept at against a very good UNLV team, then came back to Iowa City and swept Evansville. So let's start with, what did you see from them in the weekend in Vegas, and then coming back to redeem themselves a little bit here in Iowa City?
Well, it's been all or nothing these last couple of weekends, like you said, either getting swept or sweeping the opponent. And UNLV is a really good team. In the top 25 of the country, I think they're going to climb. They're going to be probably a team that's going to be hosting a regional when it comes around to the NCAA tournament. They've got it figured out as far as pitching, and when they do make errors defensively, they're able to make up for it with their hitting. They've got some real dynamic hitters hitting around 400, 500 in that lineup. So they've been really good. It was nice to see then last weekend Iowa was able to get that run support against Evansville. They put up some big numbers. They battled in that Sunday game to go ahead and get their first sweep of an opponent all season long. And kind of a nice momentum shift now coming into a big weekend.
And then you get into those midweek series here, and it was rough. You know, you come into that loss to St. Louis, which, by the way, that is their 11th win in a row, so most wins in the NCAA right now. And then Austin Guzzo hits that walk-off 2-run home run. But, I mean, they barely took the game against Loras on Wednesday. Yeah,
starting with St. Louis, not so often is it who you're playing, but when you're playing them. And St. Louis is as hot as it gets in college baseball right now. They started the year 1-7. They've won the last 11 straight, as you alluded to, with wins over Purdue, a clean sweep of them last weekend. So they were coming in on a high. It was a close game, but yet, again, it was St. Louis who was able to get that. But then you look at that Loras game, and that was one where Iowa, over the years, has played to the level of their talent. They got behind that game, but I think it was indicative that they were behind, but yet still battled back and still won the game.
They haven't seemed to do that a lot this season.
Yeah,
but, you know, Loras didn't play too bad, too. I thought they played pretty strong. But let's get into the big weekend. Indiana first Big Ten series, and it's a tough first Big Ten series, welcoming the number 11 team in the country. They're sitting at 15-4. So far, Indiana is 4-2 against ranked opponents. They are 4th in the Big Ten with a .286 batting average and averaging 6.2 runs per game. The Hoosiers have 4 players hitting .300 or better, including Matt Gorski, who is tied for 5th in the conference with a .375 average. Luke Miller has a team-high 7 home runs, which is 2nd in the Big Ten. They also have the best ERA in the Big Ten. What is Iowa going to have to do to get at least just one win in this series?
I think they're going to have to take advantage of these like Friday nights, these cold ones. You got a guy like Nick Allgaier right now who's lead of the Big Ten with ERA. He's got a real low ERA, still in the ones. So you're going to have to try to sneak away some runs, though. So far, offense hasn't been there for Iowa. So if they're able to get a couple of guys on base, you're going to have to move them across, maybe play a little small ball to be able to get that RBI and come up with a clutch hit. So I think it's going to be a lot of little small ball here or there for Iowa. They're going to have to hope for more, I think, low-scoring games than those high-scoring contests.
And Chris Whalen talked about after that Loras game that playing at Vegas, it was kind of like a Big Ten series matchup, so got them ready a little bit to prepare. But here's what Coach Heller and the team had to say on welcoming in a top 15 team.
The first Big Ten series is always a good one. It gets the blood flowing a little bit, and you know, everyone gets a little antsy for that first series, especially if it's a home one. You know, I'd have to compare the UNLV series to a Big Ten series for sure. So I'm glad we got our feet wet there. You know, they're a top 25 team as well, and we saw, you know, what those type of teams can do if we give them free bases and we don't hit well. So, you know, I think our lesson has been learned. You know, going to Vegas and learning that. So I think we're ready to go against Indiana.
I think it'll be good for us. I think it'll be really good for us. You know, we get the best team thrown at us right away. You know, I think we're going to match their effort. You know, especially at home. You know, I think we do a good job here of really trying to hold our own here at Banks, and you know, they're going to come in here expecting that, St. Louis beat us, and we almost lost to Loras. So you're probably going to think, these guys aren't as good as they used to be. But I think it really comes down to matching energy and focus, and if we give our best effort, I think could very easily come away with 3 wins this weekend. So
we'll go out and just give them a good effort. I mean, that's all we can do. I mean, we know they have good arms, good bats. Tough lineup. We've been doing scouting all week, and they're good. They're a very good team, and like you said, we're going to have to play our best. And I mean, we kind of talk about that every time we go out, so it won't be anything new. But I know guys will be excited to start conference play, and have them at home is definitely an advantage for us.
All right. Can they get at least one win this weekend?
I think they can, and I think they can get 2 if they really play this right. The doubleheader on Friday, since the schedule got moved around with the snow coming into the forecast, I think plays in Iowa's advantage. When you're at home, things are moved around. It helps out that home team a little bit more. So I could see Iowa picking up one on Friday and then coming around on Sunday and having to win the series.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll get a win as well. That's it for us. We have a doubleheader today. First pitch at noon. Second game will follow 30 minutes after the end of the first. Then they will be back on Sunday at Dwayne Bakes at 1 p.m. You can listen to our good friend Zach on the call all weekend long on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Guys, back over to you.